He slumped deeper into the leather chair, lowering his eyelids just enough to look convincingly asleep. The golden badge on his desk, Ethan Cole, CEO, glimmered in the soft light. Outside the glass walls, the city glowed under the weight of ambition, but inside, silence ruled, except for the soft swish of a mop. Ethan didn't move. He was testing a man tonight, but he had no idea that the whisper he was about to hear would crack his carefully built world in two. The janitor entered quietly, as he always did. An old man with tired eyes and calloused hands, dressed in a faded uniform that smelled faintly of bleach and struggle. His name was Daniel, and he moved as though he carried a lifetime of silence on his back. He didn't know the CEO was awake, watching, pretending, waiting to see what kind of man cleaned his office after hours. Ethan had overheard the HR staff gossiping earlier. That janitor's working 2 jobs just to send his daughter to college. Some pitied him. Some mocked him. Ethan didn't believe in either. People show who they are when they think no one's watching, he'd said coldly, deciding to find out for himself. So he stayed late, pretended to nap at his desk, and waited. Daniel began his routine with quiet care. He straightened the awards on the shelf, top 50 CEOs under 40, and dusted them as if they were relics from a forgotten age. He picked up a photo frame from Ethan's desk, a picture of Ethan shaking hands with foreign investors. His reflection shimmered faintly over the glass, 2 men in one picture, one successful, one invisible. Must be nice, Daniel murmured, voice cracking like a dry leaf. To build something from nothing? Maybe one day she will too. He sighed, set the frame down, and continued cleaning. Ethan's curiosity sharpened. Who was she? As Daniel reached for the trash can, his gaze fell on a crumpled paper near the bin. Ethan's morning notes from the staff meeting. He picked it up, flattened it gently, and his eyes lingered on a list. Staff cuts. Maintenance team reduction. Daniel froze. His breathing hitched. Then, softly, as though speaking to himself, he whispered, "Guess I'll tell Lily she might have to wait another semester." Ethan's chest tightened. He didn't expect guilt to sting like that. The man hadn't taken anything, hadn't cursed, hadn't complained. Just that one broken whisper, filled with love, fear, and quiet endurance. Daniel mopped around the desk, humming a tune faintly off-key. Ethan realized it was the same lullaby his mother used to hum when life was simpler, before ambition became his oxygen. He opened his eyes, but Daniel had already turned to leave. "Wait," Ethan said suddenly, his voice breaking the stillness. Daniel turned, startled, eyes wide like a child caught trespassing. "Sir, I didn't mean to disturb you." Ethan sat up, his facade melting. "You said Lily?" Daniel blinked, hesitant. "My daughter, sir. She's in her 2nd year of medical school. I'm just trying to keep her there." Silence hovered between them. The CEO looked at the man. The weary hands, the wrinkled shirt, the eyes that carried stories he'd never lived. "You know," Ethan said softly, "most people complain when they think no one's listening." "You didn't," Daniel gave a humble smile. "Complaining doesn't clean floors, sir." That night, Ethan didn't go home right away. He sat long after Daniel left, staring at the mop bucket trail on the marble floor like a confession written in water. Something inside him, something he'd buried beneath success, began to stir. The next day, the office buzzed with tension. Rumors flew about layoffs. Ethan entered the conference room, but for once, he didn't bring numbers. He brought silence. He watched his executive squirm under the weight of expectation, and then he spoke. "I changed my mind," he said. "No cuts. In fact, we're starting something new." The board erupted with questions, but Ethan only smiled faintly. "We're launching a scholarship program for staff families, starting with our maintenance team." Later that evening, Daniel returned to clean the same office, unaware of the change that had begun. When he saw an envelope on the desk addressed to him, he froze. Inside was a single note written in neat handwriting, Lily's tuition, fully covered. "Keep mopping the world clean, Daniel. Some of us are finally watching." There was a check attached, enough for the whole year. Daniel sat down in the empty office, tears falling silently onto the marble. He whispered to himself again, only this time his voice trembled with disbelief and gratitude. "Thank you, God. Thank you." At the same moment, Ethan stood by the window of his penthouse, staring down at the city lights. For the first time in years, he didn't feel lonely among the millions. He finally understood that leadership wasn't about power. It was about listening, even to whispers meant for no one else. And somewhere in the echo of that office, the faint sound of a janitor's song drifted again, a lullaby for tired souls, and maybe a new beginning for both of them.